Life is a long journey, and every step brings us something precious. But have you ever wondered, at some point, if all the things we hold onto are still truly important? Especially as we move past the age of 70, it's time to pause and reflect on ourselves. Are the worries, expectations, and responsibilities we've carried on our shoulders still worth pursuing? This isn't a time to keep pushing harder, it's a time to learn how to let go. Imagine if, today, you could lighten your load just a little, allowing yourself to live with more ease, more peace, and truly spend time on what matters most to you. How different might life feel? In this video, I want to walk alongside you as we explore 9 things that may no longer serve us well at this stage in life, so you can live with greater meaning and fulfillment. There's no need to rush anymore. Now is the time to slow down and savor each remaining moment. Let's journey to the end of this video together to reflect on what's worth holding onto and what we can gracefully release. Because perhaps, in these small insights, you may discover the peace and happiness you've been seeking right here within your own heart. 1. Letting go of the need to be useful to everyone. Throughout our lives, many of us carry a deeply ingrained belief that our value lies in what we can do for others. From an early age, we're taught to take care of, help, and sacrifice for those around us. As the trusted friend, the devoted parent, the helpful colleague, we get used to putting others first. While this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it builds meaningful relationships and makes us feel loved. It can also lead us to lose sight of our own needs. As we enter our 70s, it's natural to wonder, do we still need to keep proving our worth by being useful to everyone around us? In Western culture, independence and self-sufficiency are highly valued. Yet we're often caught in a cycle of feeling responsible for others, not just family, but also friends, work, and the wider community. For many, there's this sense that unless we're contributing or doing something, our value diminishes. But as we age, this expectation can become exhausting. It weighs on us, especially as our energy and resources become limited. We're often reluctant to let go of the idea that we must always be there for others, and because of this, we might feel guilty about taking time to focus on ourselves. Yet what we often overlook is that our presence alone is valuable to those who care about us, regardless of what we can physically or emotionally offer. True friends and family members love us not for what we do, but for who we are. Sometimes, allowing ourselves the freedom to relax and be ourselves, without trying to prove anything, is the most genuine way to show up for others. Embracing this mindset can lead us to a life of greater peace and simplicity. Life beyond 70 doesn't need to revolve around being useful to others or trying to meet others' expectations. Instead, it can be a time to reflect on what genuinely makes us happy. Releasing this need to be useful is not an act of selfishness, it's a way of honoring the unique value that each of us brings to the world simply by being ourselves. In Western society, there's a growing recognition of the importance of mental health and living a balanced life. At this stage, after years of giving to others, perhaps it's time to pause and stop measuring ourselves by what we can do for others. It's time to appreciate our own worth and focus on enjoying life in ways that bring us joy. Letting go of the need to be constantly useful can be incredibly freeing, and it allows us to embrace each day without the invisible weight of external expectations. 2. Facing the fear of growing older. Youth is often associated with vitality, beauty, and endless possibilities. From a young age, we're bombarded with the message that youth is the most cherished stage of life. The media, movies, and even societal pressures reinforce this idea, creating a subtle but persistent fear of growing older. We fear losing strength, looks, and relevance. We worry that as we age, the world will move on without us, leaving us behind in a society that celebrates youth above all else. When we start to see signs of aging in the mirror, wrinkles, gray hair, tired eyes, it's easy to feel disappointed or saddened. But if we look at aging from a different perspective, we might discover that it isn't something to dread. Each wrinkle, each strand of gray hair, tells a story. They mark the laughter, tears, and experiences that have shaped us. They are symbols of resilience, evidence of a life that has been lived with richness and depth. In Western society, there's a growing movement towards embracing and respecting the aging process. This self-acceptance and body-positive culture encourage us to see aging as a beautiful and valuable stage of life, rather than a loss. Older adults hold tremendous value in society, bringing wisdom, experience, and insights that younger generations can rarely understand. By learning to embrace and appreciate aging, we can free ourselves from the fear of growing old and live each moment with peace and gratitude. Instead of running from aging, we can welcome it as a natural part of life. Facing aging doesn't mean losing anything, but rather gaining a new outlook. We can experience a renewed sense of purpose, where peace, self-acceptance, and finding joy in the present become central to our lives. Growing older is a remarkable journey, and we can choose to view it positively, making our lives richer and more fulfilling with each passing day. 3. Letting go of the illusion of perfection. Many people spend a lifetime caught up in the pursuit of perfection. Society often imposes a vague but compelling notion of perfection on us, a standard that most of us can never realistically attain. We strive to be the perfect parent, the ideal partner, the standout employee. This pursuit of perfection can lead to sleepless nights, overwhelming stress, and a constant feeling that we're somehow not measuring up. What's important to recognize is that these standards are often ones we impose on ourselves, and they are frequently unrealistic. No matter how much we achieve, perfection remains out of reach. Those moments when we feel not good enough or like we've failed are often the result of comparing ourselves to an ideal created by society, a standard that is rarely aligned with real life. Increasingly, people in Western cultures are beginning to value authenticity and self-acceptance over unrealistic ideals. Letting go of the illusion of perfection doesn't mean abandoning our responsibilities or settling for less. It's an acknowledgement that life is a journey filled with challenges, growth, and change. Each of us has flaws and makes mistakes, but it's these very imperfections that make us unique and add richness to life. Perfection isn't the goal, it's the path itself that makes life interesting and beautiful. Life is short, and instead of spending it chasing after perfection, maybe we should focus on living true to ourselves, accepting who we are, and embracing both our strengths and weaknesses. When we free ourselves from the burden of trying to be perfect, life becomes lighter, more enjoyable, and more fulfilling. No one in this world is perfect, and that's perfectly okay. 4. The overload of information and connectivity. In today's world, information floods in from everywhere: phones, emails, social media, and messaging apps constantly buzzing to grab our attention. The moment we open our eyes to a new day, we're bombarded with notifications, breaking news, work emails, and messages from friends and family. Checking our phones first thing in the morning has become a reflex for many, but we rarely realize that these first few moments of the day can actually add pressure to our lives. Information flows from all directions, non-stop, like a torrent we feel we can't control. In this endless stream, many of us lose touch with ourselves. We sometimes forget that one of the most important things in life isn't to know everything or to be up to date with every news story, but rather to have time to listen to ourselves, to know what we need and want. Chasing updates and being constantly in the know can make us lose those precious moments to truly understand and take care of our inner selves. When was the last time you genuinely spent time with yourself? No phone, no notifications, just you and your thoughts. Constant connectivity doesn't always equate to happiness. Often, it leaves us feeling stressed, as if we're constantly running to keep up. In a time when social media is a standard for comparison, we can easily find ourselves feeling inadequate or insecure when we see others living seemingly glamorous or successful lives. This only adds to our stress and exhaustion, just as a river needs time for the water to settle. We too need moments of peace for our minds to unwind, free from the powerful currents of the outside world. Sometimes, the best thing we can do is disconnect, step away from our devices, and allow ourselves to simply be in the present moment without being tied to any beeps, buzzes, or notifications. In doing so, we might rediscover the joy of simple things, enjoying a morning coffee, taking a stroll in the park, or simply gazing at the blue sky. These moments remind us that life's pleasures don't come from constant updates or comparisons. Try turning off your devices and giving yourself a break from the information loop. Spend time with yourself, find peace and balance, and listen to your inner voice. It's a journey that's not always easy but truly rewarding. After all, life isn't about knowing everything, it's about finding joy in the simplest of things, in moments where we genuinely feel at peace. 5. Letting go of old roles and labels. From the day we're born, we begin a journey of building our identity and forming our roles in society. These roles, parent, child, friend, colleague, become part of us, giving us meaning, value, and something to strive for. From a young age, we do our best in these roles, finding pride and fulfillment. But as time goes on, these roles might naturally evolve or even become less relevant. Relationships change, jobs transition, children grow up and begin their own lives. Suddenly, we may find ourselves in a space of emptiness, wondering who we are without these roles. You may feel a bit lost, as if a part of you is missing. But the truth is, you are still you, with all that you've experienced, with all the growth, wisdom, and emotions that make you who you are. We aren't solely defined by the roles we've played throughout our lives. We are complex and whole individuals with the capacity to love, understand, and create. This time in life can be seen as an opportunity to explore other sides of yourself, passions, and interests that you might not have had the chance to pursue before. Letting go of old labels doesn't mean denying the past or losing something valuable. Instead, it's a form of liberation that allows you to open up to new things, to continue evolving and adapting. Think about what you can do to grow without holding on to the past. Those previous experiences and roles remain a valuable part of you, but let yourself embrace the possibility that you can become a refreshed and vibrant version of yourself. You might find joy in trying things you've never had the chance to do before. Take up a new hobby, learn a craft, or simply spend more time doing things you've always loved. Sometimes, transitioning from an old role can open up doors to new experiences, joys, and opportunities you never knew existed. Let yourself explore freely, and you may find that life still holds many wonderful things to experience. 6. The strength in asking for help. One of the biggest challenges for many people is admitting when they need help. Western culture often places a high value on independence and self-sufficiency, making it hard for some of us to ask for support. From a young age, we're taught to be strong, self-reliant, and responsible for our own lives. Feeling vulnerable or incapable of handling everything alone can be a significant fear. But the truth is, real strength doesn't lie in enduring alone. It lies in having the courage to admit that we need others. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. Instead, it's a sign of bravery and humility. It shows that we are brave enough to acknowledge our limits and are open to letting others into our lives. When we ask for help, we're not only receiving support but also building deeper connections with others. It's an act of trust, creating space for others to show their care and compassion. Our loved ones, whether friends or family, are usually more than willing to help. They don't see you as a burden. In fact, they find value in being there for you, just as you would for them. Remember that a healthy relationship isn't only about giving, but also about being able to receive. When you open up and ask for help, you not only help yourself, but also allow those around you to feel that they matter in your life. As we grow older, physical and mental health may not be as strong as they once were. Instead of pushing ourselves to endure, let's allow ourselves to ask for support from others. It could be asking for help with a household task or simply sharing a story to ease feelings of loneliness. Let asking for help be a way to build and strengthen your relationships with those who care for you. In the end, asking for help is about opening the door to being loved, supported, and living in real connection. 7. Breaking old habits. Habits are an integral part of our lives. They form from the smallest of routines, from having morning coffee to how we arrange tasks in our day. Habits bring a sense of stability and comfort, and sometimes they even bring pride for having a set structure to our lives. However, as the years pass, we may come to realize that some old habits have lost their value or no longer suit our current way of living. At times, holding on to these habits can keep us from experiencing new things or discovering a joy we hadn't anticipated. There's a well-known saying in Western philosophy, growth begins outside your comfort zone. This rings true even in later years. Instead of confining ourselves to an old routine, we can explore what happens when we break from these habits and step into the unknown. While habits can provide a certain safety, they may also turn life into an endless loop of familiarity, lacking vibrancy and spontaneity. Why not consider a small shift in an old habit? For instance, instead of having your morning coffee at home, you might try visiting a new cafe where you can enjoy a fresh atmosphere and meet new people. Or, rather than watching the same show every evening, you might dive into a new book genre you haven't explored before. Even the tiniest of changes can bring unexpected joy. For many, change may feel overwhelming or unnecessary. But keep in mind, making small changes doesn't mean abandoning who you are. Changing habits doesn't mean losing yourself. Rather, it's about refreshing life, keeping the mind agile, adding energy, and enriching your experiences. Trying something new doesn't require a complete overhaul. It's about embracing new experiences within your comfort zone. Maybe you thought of picking up a new skill or joining an art class, but never got around to it. Sometimes, renewal comes from things we missed out on, thinking they weren't essential. New experiences not only broaden our horizons, but also alter our perception of life. There's no need to take big risks to change life. Simply opening ourselves up to small, new experiences every day is enough. Ultimately, life is a journey, not a fixed destination. Each day is an opportunity to experience, explore, and renew yourself. Don't hesitate to break free from old habits and step outside the comfort zone. With each small change, you may find a sense of freshness and joy in life that you didn't expect. 8. Slowing down. Modern life is a non-stop flow, demanding that we constantly move quickly, finish tasks, and reach achievements at a rapid pace. We're used to being busy, living fast, and always racing against time. But eventually, when we've come to live most of our journey, we realize that slowing down is incredibly valuable. When we slow down, we're not just stopping to rest, we're savoring moments that we once overlooked. There's a Western philosophy that encourages us to pause to move forward, underscoring that slowing down isn't wasting time, but rather a way to truly feel and appreciate each moment. When you allow yourself to slow down, you'll notice that everything around you holds a unique joy. Imagine a quiet morning where you sip your coffee without rushing, letting your mind relax instead of worrying about a to-do list. Or imagine an afternoon where you take a walk in the park, hearing birds chirp, feeling the breeze, and taking in the world around you. Slowing down allows us to reassess our lives and find happiness in small things. We don't need to chase big accomplishments to feel fulfilled. Happiness isn't about reaching a destination, but enjoying each step of the journey. Peace doesn't come from doing more, but from recognizing what's enough and valuing what we have. In addition, slowing down helps us gain insight into ourselves. With a slower pace, we can listen to our inner voice, reflect on what we truly desire, and reevaluate what we consider important. Sometimes we realize that things we once thought essential are actually burdens we're ready to let go of. In that way, we can reclaim lightness in our soul. There's no need to rush to complete everything all at once. Try letting life unfold at its own pace and allow simple moments to shine. Slowing down is a way to rediscover calm and contentment. It's not avoidance, but rather finding yourself in the most ordinary yet profound things. 9. Letting go of grudges and past hurts. All of us have been hurt at some point in our lives, betrayed, misunderstood, or wounded. Sometimes, these hurts leave deep scars that linger, creating an ache we carry throughout life. Resentment, disappointment, or even anger can tie us to the past and make it difficult to fully embrace the present. But perhaps, with age, it's time to look back and release these mental burdens to find true peace. There's a meaningful Western belief: forgiveness isn't for others, it's for ourselves. Holding on to grudges and pain doesn't hurt anyone else, it only affects us. Like a chain, these emotions hold us in the cycle of the past, preventing us from moving forward. When you let go of resentment, it's not about excusing wrongdoings, but rather freeing yourself from the shackles of pain. Forgiving may feel challenging, especially when the wound runs deep. Yet, remember that carrying these negative emotions only weighs us down. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring the past, it means allowing yourself to step beyond it and live on. With each act of forgiveness, our hearts feel lighter and our minds grow more peaceful. Forgiveness is a powerful and courageous act, not for the benefit of others, but for the healing of our own soul. Consider that what's happened is part of life's journey. But it doesn't define the entirety of our experience. We can't change the past, but we have the choice of how to face it. By releasing resentment, we open ourselves to new joys, love, and happiness. Without the weight of the past, our spirit feels lighter, and we can embrace each moment of the present more fully. So, let past hurts fade away, making room for peace and love in your life. We've lived long enough to know that life is too short, and our time is far more precious than any pain. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself, one that brings freedom and serenity. 10. Embracing the lightness of being. Life is a journey. Unlike any journey, there comes a time when we need to pause, take a look around, listen to ourselves, and finally release the pressures we've been carrying. As we enter the later stages of life, we are no longer bound by the duties, roles, and responsibilities that once defined us. We have the freedom to step back, reflect on our lives, and fully appreciate the value of what's happening in the present. This is the lightness of being, a state where the mind is unburdened by the past, free from worries about the future, and simply immersed in the beauty of the now. Throughout our lives, we often chase big goals, accomplishments, and relationships that we believe will bring us happiness. But as we reach a certain age, we begin to see that not everything needs to be perfect or grand. Values like love, gratitude, and inner peace provide lasting joy and true fulfillment. Simple moments, like feeling the warmth of the sun, savoring a cup of tea, or listening to birdsong in the morning, can become precious when we allow ourselves to fully experience them. This is what it means to embrace the lightness of being, a state not everyone reaches, as it requires letting go of unnecessary desires and learning to be content with life's simplest joys. The philosophy of contentment, finding peace in the present, a foundational philosophy of embracing the lightness of being is contentment. This concept isn't just about feeling satisfied with what we have, it's a realization that nothing is permanent and that we can't hold onto everything forever. Contentment is seeing what we have as enough, without comparing ourselves to others, and accepting that what we possess is sufficient for a meaningful life. Living with this mindset, we're no longer consumed by endless desires or needless worries. In our later years, as health and energy decline, finding peace in each present moment becomes all the more important. Instead of longing for what's gone or worrying about what's yet to come, we can focus on the beautiful things that are still around us. Genuine relationships, cherished memories, and even the quiet moments can hold unique value. By shifting from a mentality of wanting more to one of appreciating enough, we can find joy and peace in the simplest of things, simplifying life, a path to inner peace. A meaningful, fulfilling life doesn't need to be filled with extravagance or grand achievements. Often, it's the simple, pure aspects of life that offer the greatest sense of relief. In our later years, we can choose to let go of complicated needs, elaborate plans, and shift our focus to what's truly essential. This isn't about giving up passions, but rather about seeking a happiness that can be sustained naturally, without relying on external circumstances. Simplifying life means letting go of negative relationships, unhealthy habits, and even expectations from others. It's a choice to prioritize peace, to release unnecessary pressures, and to focus on what truly matters. Only when the soul is at ease can we truly open ourselves to the beauty of life with sincerity and gratitude. Simplifying is not just about reducing material possessions, it's also about rediscovering ourselves, the core values and meaningful aspects of life, connecting with nature, rediscovering joy in the small things. Nature has always been a source of boundless inspiration and peace for the human soul. In modern life, we're often swept up in the whirl of work, responsibilities, and unending demands. But in later years, we have more time to listen to our inner voice, to immerse ourselves in nature, and to reconnect with life's most fundamental elements. Take time to stroll in the park, observe the trees, breathe in the fresh air, and notice the subtle changes of nature around you. It could be the sun filtering through the leaves, a soft breeze, or the sparkle of morning dew. Nature has its own way of healing, guiding us back to our own inner peace. When we can find joy in the little things, we begin to see that life is truly simple and worth living, and that every moment has its own preciousness, finding joy in stillness, learning to savor the present moment. Stillness is a friend that not everyone learns to appreciate. In today's society, many people are caught up in a fast-paced lifestyle, always feeling the need to be busy or to achieve something. But at this stage in life, we have the opportunity to slow down, to truly appreciate stillness. It helps us connect with ourselves, to listen to the thoughts and feelings we may have ignored before. When we live in stillness, we can start to view life with fresh eyes. The little things become more meaningful. A simple meal, a peaceful morning, or even a moment of solitude, each of these becomes a source of joy. Joy doesn't always have to come from grand achievements or flashy things. Often, it's the calm, quiet moments that hold the most genuine happiness. Conclusion: embracing the lightness of being is a state of mind everyone should strive for in life, especially after experiencing life's ups and downs. When we're no longer weighed down by expectations, when we accept ourselves and life as they are, we find true peace. This journey is about letting go, being content with the present, and finding happiness in the simple things around us. A simple but meaningful life is the key to feeling joy and serenity naturally, one that will stay with us in the long run.